And like Debbie said, I'm Keith Dennis, Market President and Publisher of the Denver Business Journal. Proud to be a media sponsor along with 9 News for the Future of Work event, so very excited for this. Also on your tables, you'll see some workforce development guides that the Denver Business Journal produced. So feel free to take that. It's going to be an overview of some programs and organizations here in the metro area that are really paving the way to tackle workforce development issues and opportunities. So feel free to take that. And now on to our first business spotlight of the afternoon. I want to introduce Mark Tapey, Senior Talent Management Manager for Pinnacle Assurance. All right, question number 1. I'm glad you have a microphone so we don't have to share this small one here. So can you share specific insights and lessons learned from Pinnacle Assurance's integration of apprenticeships and how these experiences have influenced your approach to workforce development and talent acquisition?
Yes, absolutely, and thank you all for the opportunity to be here today. I'm really excited to represent Pinnacle Assurance on behalf of our leadership team and all of our team members. For those of you who may not be familiar with Pinnacle, we are the primary provider of workers' compensation in the state of Colorado. We've served Colorado for 108 years. And by nature of our work, the health of the Colorado workforce on multiple levels is our business. And so when we think of innovative strategies to kind of connect Coloradans to great jobs and ensure that our businesses have the talent pools they need, we feel a responsibility to lead in. And as a result, in 2017, due to our own workforce pressures, looking at an aging workforce demographic in insurance, we decided to launch the Youth Apprenticeship Program. And since then, we've actually hired 70 high school students over the course of 7 cohorts. We actually are hiring right now for our 8th cohort of apprentices. So if you know any rising high school juniors or seniors, I'm getting a plug in. The CareerWise Colorado Marketplace, we have positions open. Fatima Amador, my colleague back there, is also a great person to talk to, but we've learned a lot. This is obviously a strategy that's maybe a little bit unique. Not all businesses have high school students operating with them, but we have learned that in order to do this successfully, first and foremost, it takes top-down alignment and understanding of the purpose of this work. It takes bandwidth, it takes capacity, it takes collaboration. We've had apprentices support 35 different teams within our organization. We feel very confident, we're very proud of the outcomes that we've seen, but it hasn't happened in isolation or in silo. And so to have that collaboration and connection has been essential. And I guess point number 2 here is when we talk about the purpose, having that alignment around purpose, we just heard a bit of the background. We know right now that the workforce that will be entering the marketplace in the coming years has been impacted in a way that we've never seen by educational disruption. So their skill building and their preparedness, there's opportunity to close skill gaps. And on the other side of the equation, we are seeing a business climate that is moving and going to be facing technological disruption on a scale that I don't think we've seen in a long time as well. So when you see both sides of this equation, we need novel strategies to prepare this future workforce. And we know that the best workers come from both education and experience. And I think that's what's so exciting about models like youth apprenticeship and apprenticeship and work-based learning in general, is that it can deliver on that. And I would say just 2 quick items in closing is this isn't just a strategy for young people or youth apprentices. We've been able to take our learnings and apply this to our incumbent workforce as well. We've created a program that we call Learning Through Experience, where we have cross-functional placements where team members are able to take a portion of their week and support other teams and build skills and forge their careers, so that long-term, as we're attracting talent and talent is seeing that they can grow, they're staying with us as well, which is lessening the pressure on our need to recruit out there in the marketplace.
That's great. So Pinnacle Assurance has been recognized with both local and national awards for its workplace culture. Can you highlight some key elements of this culture that have contributed to all of these accolades that you've had both locally and nationally? And how does Pinnacle Assurance continue to evolve its culture and talent development efforts to meet the changing needs of the modern workforce?
Pick this one apart here. So I would say, as far as the awards, it's something we're incredibly proud of. We've received national awards for our work in the DE&I space, for our leadership, for our flexible work environment. We know that for us, our kind of the overall vision of our culture and how we operate is to create a caring and supportive environment for our team members so that they can be caring and supportive and empathetic for our injured workers and our policyholders. And as a result, what we've seen is we've had 9 consecutive years of the highest injured worker satisfaction scores in the state, and we're actually pacing the nation in a lot of that. And that really starts at home with ensuring that we're pouring into our team members. And when we say something is important to us from a cultural standpoint, we're putting benchmarks around it, we're putting intentionality around it, we're measuring it, and most importantly, we're creating channels where we can hear team member feedback so that if we are missing the mark, we're responding and we're acclimating and constantly adjusting to this new world of work. Because to your point, having flexibility in your workforce and how you operate is now table stakes. When you're trying to attract the top talent, you have to have flexibility. We're now competing not just with local operators here in Colorado, but really the nation. And top talent doesn't have to stay in Colorado unless we offer those perks and resources that the top employers across the country are doing. So we always have to monitor to make sure we're keeping that flexibility and those perks available, but also holding that space so that our culture can kind of propagate and cross-pollinate. And so we have had a balance of, we try to hold in-person events, we try to forge those spaces in kind of the before times that we used to have prior to 2019, where our team members could connect with one another, but also give them that flexibility and agency. So we had, like a huge 500-person team meeting. We do those quarterly. We had that yesterday, but we don't try to mandate too much and still keep those lines of communication open as much as possible.
Success story? All right. Mark started sharing a success story with me that I want him to share about a specific employee that was a really interesting story.
Yeah, if that's okay. I think, this really illustrates bringing sideline talent into the fray. And I want to talk about an apprentice that we hired 6 years ago now. And this is a young lady that went to an online school pre-COVID, who, when she walked into the interview, could not make eye contact with me, could not shake my hand. So much so that my colleague walked her around the building just to de-escalate things a little bit. And we had an interview, and it went about as expected. It was tough. It was great that she got out there, but she wrote a thank you letter that to this day is still the greatest thank you letter I've ever read in my entire life. And so we saw something and we said, let's roll the dice. Let's roll the dice. Let's see what happens here. And we hired this young lady, and she went through the program and has built confidence. And she has now been promoted multiple times within our organization. She won our top customer service award in her first year as a customer service representative. And when she was interviewed during the apprenticeship, one time, someone asked her, what did you think you wanted to be when you grow up, or what did you see with your future? And she told us, I didn't think I had one. She's now a top performer in our organization because of this type of mechanism. And so I think that's just a crystal clear illustration of what can be done here and why this is so important. So thank you all for the time. Thanks for the opportunity to share, and hope we can all network and learn a bit from each other today.
All right.